Jeremy and I have shared a lot of experiences as we grew up as brothers.
Justin's always been an icon to me. He's always been someone that I looked up to.
Canyoneering is a passion that the brothers have shared since they were 7 years old.
We can share things that brothers don't very often get time to share.
Today they're going to tackle a remote canyon over 50 miles from the nearest town.
We were looking for something that would be a new adventure, something that was going to be a little bit more challenging.
They camp for the night and wake up to a freezing winter morning.
Hey, little brother, wake up. What time is it? It's time to go.
It had been a while since we'd been out on a hike, and November was, it was a little later than we wanted to go.
We both had done quite a bit of winter hiking, so it wasn't something that was foreign to us, but it's definitely something that's going to complicate matters.
You sure you're up for this today?
I thought about that question, and I think, yeah, maybe part of me as his older brother thought that I needed to make the final say.
Yeah, are you? Yeah, I'm up for it. You drove all this way, right?
I made the decision that we were going to go for it that day.
Justin!
We started double-checking all of our equipment, making sure that we had all of the hardware that we needed, that the ropes were ready to go. Our route was going to head up towards the pinnacle and then drop down into Baptist Draw. Basically, at that point, it was like a little bit of kind of elation that we'd made the decision that we were going to go forward with this.
As they race towards the canyon's entrance, it's Jeremy, the younger brother, who's at a disadvantage. As a child, he suffered from a debilitating hip condition that led to a full hip replacement when he was only 21.
All of my growing up years, it was something that dictated what I was able to do and what I wasn't able to do.
Hip acting up? Just never liked the cold.
Jeremy's really suffered, and I was always a little bit in awe of the fact that with his artificial hip, he would push himself, and he would find a trail, or he would find a new peak that he hadn't climbed yet.
The brothers plan to follow a circular route. The descent into Upper Chute Canyon will take them 500 feet below the surface. To get back out, they must look for the side canyon at Chute Junction.
We were headed down ledges, and we were hopping from rock to rock and just kind of making our way.
The trail notes say that the route should take about 8 hours. The brothers know they need to complete it well before dark. The dangerous terrain and possibility of flash floods make a slot canyon no place to spend a night.
Are we waiting?
What?
Are we waiting or what?
The water looks way too cold.
There's a technique where you put your back against one side of the wall and your feet against the other side of the wall, and you kind of edge your way over the pools down below. As the canyon got a little bit more technical, it started taking us longer and longer to cover the ground that we needed to cover. I didn't get too concerned about the pace that we were making until we got to the rappel.
Is this it?
That's it.
The drop is too steep just to scramble down. They'll need to use ropes.
I could feel the cold wind blowing up into the canyon, and I was starting to get nervous at that point.
Justin had not rappelled ever before, had never even put a harness on.
How far down do you think that is?
6,000 to 7,000 feet, at least.
You're my least favorite brother.
I know.
It was a good drop.
It wasn't something that you would survive if you fell from.
See? It's nothing to worry about.
I'm not worried. A little terrified, maybe. Not worried.
You'll be fine.
Jeremy was getting quiet at that point, and I don't know if he was having some of the same thoughts I was having about what was happening and how long it was taking us to do this, but I know that things got really, really serious for us. When my feet hit the bottom, it was like huge relief. I thought, hey, that really wasn't too bad.
The scary element about technical canyoneering is once you go over a rappel, unless you leave your climbing rope there, you have no way back out. You have no choice but to continue.
The canyon has proven to be far more difficult than the brothers expected. They're now hours behind schedule.
The tension was increasing, the pressure was on. We really needed to get a move on. Well, it wasn't more than 100 yards, and we ran into a huge chokestone.
No, that's not on the trail notes.
It becomes basically a barrier that you need to climb up and over.
Got some water.
The last thing we wanted to do was fall down into one of these pools and get wet.
This looks pretty good. I think I can take this.
Well, let me get back up there.
I was confident that we could down climb it and not have any problem.
Jeremy, wait! Ah! Jeremy! Jeremy!
I remember when I heard that splash, that was the last thing that I wanted to hear at that point.
Jeremy! 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 Are you okay? Are you okay?
I can't believe I just did that.
Hold on, dear, I'm coming.
Both hypothermia and frostbite were a major concern. It's the end of November and it's in Utah. I don't know exactly what the temperature was during the day, but it was well below freezing.
Freezing. There's no way we're climbing out of here.
Just double time the rest of the canyon. Get back to camp.
Dusk is just 3 hours away and the temperature's dropping fast. Justin and Jeremy will have to move even quicker now if they're to have any chance of getting out of the canyon before dark.
More fire. Hot cuts are really good right now.
I think we were even in a bigger hurry after that happened. I know I definitely was.
All right.
Now the weather, which has been deteriorating all day, takes a dramatic turn for the worse.
It probably wasn't 10, 15 minutes before there was maybe an inch of snow. It was very cold. And then we hit another big chokestone. I remember looking down over the back of it and looking at that pool and thinking, oh great, water again.
You think this canyon has something against us, do you?
Yeah, I think it might just.
It was a very tricky down climb, even though it wasn't far. There were very few handholds and very few places to stand on the way down.
And footing was a little slippery because of the snow.
I'm glad you were there.
And I remember just holding on to his hand because that was the firmest thing that I had to hold on to.
Okay.
I remember feeling a shift in his movement and believing he was going to jump to the floor because it really wasn't that far. I let go.
And the next thing I know, I'm basically falling.
Justin!
I knew without a doubt I had just broken my leg, and all I could do was scream. It was the worst pain I'd ever felt in my life.
Just stop screaming! You gotta calm down!
I had never quite heard someone scream in pain like that. It was,
Okay, take me down. Let's have a look down there.
He said, let's go in and see what we can find.
They're flying towards a wetland area where buffalo might gather. But this means flying in close to a huge escarpment rock face.
We had to get in quite close to this escarpment to be able to have a look at them properly. We were traveling quite fast.
Hold on.
The closer they get to the escarpment, the more turbulent the air becomes.
I noticed that the airplane seemed to be descending.
Then suddenly, the air sucks the plane downwards.
You get these vortexes that come off the ridge, and we'd flown into one of those.
At full throttle, Adam attempts to pull the plane up over the oncoming escarpment to escape the vortex.
I was trying to keep the airplane going at maximum revs to keep the nose up. The stall warning came on. This is bad news. I know this is really bad news. We were in serious trouble.
It seemed like we were not going to get over the top.
Just seconds before impact, Adam manages to bank the plane.
I managed to get the wings level, but we were going down.
Going in! We're going in!
What happened is that we just lost it.
Going in! We're going in! Brace! Brace!
I had about 10 or 15 seconds to say I had a good life.
Brace!
And then we hit.
The plane is shattered on impact. All 4 men are trapped inside the fuselage.
I woke up, and the first thing I knew one had to do with these situations is get out of the aeroplane.
Get out! Get out!
I wasn't really aware of where I was. I must have been somehow aware that the right way out was on my right.
Pilot Adam struggles to free himself from the wreckage. He's in for a shock.
I landed on the wing, but then, there was this huge pain. Shoots through your whole body like an electric shock. And I immediately knew I'd broken my back.
Adam has escaped the burning fuselage, but he's now helpless on the wing, where the fuel for the plane is stored.
Fire!
As fuel leaks closer to the flames,
We still had a significant amount of fuel on board, and I was lying on it.
the smallest drop could ignite the fuel tank, turning the plane and all 4 men into a fireball.
Fire!
Get out! Get out!
Mumba scrambles clear, but Clive is still inside the wreckage.
I remember waking up. First thing I saw was Adam lying on the wing. I smelled aviation fuel. I thought I had to get out of here.
Get out! Get out now!
It was hot and it was horrible. And there was just carnage everywhere. There was a very steep slope and I just rolled down the hill.
The plane is a ticking time bomb, ready to explode with Adam stuck on the wing.
I was scared. You know, I thought, this is not good.
There was flame coming out of the engine. There was a fair amount of fuel leaking from the wing.
Fuel is very, very explosive stuff. And the slightest spark or flame, the whole thing fireballs. The slightest contact and the whole thing will blow. And there was nothing I could do about it.
Miraculously, the fire burns out. The most immediate danger is over.
Clive!
But like Adam, Clive is seriously injured and unable to move.
I just had this terrible pain as if someone had stuck something into my back. I was just writhing on the ground looking for a position that would give me some relief.
On impact, Clive's spine was twisted backwards and his vertebrae crushed together. Despite fracturing his back, he's managed to roll 70 feet away from the plane.
I felt a little bit guilty that somehow I'd panicked because of fear of explosion and just tried to run away from that as fast as I could.
Adam!
Clive has no idea if his colleagues have survived.
I could see the plane, but I couldn't really see any detail. I couldn't see Adam. I could just see the plane from where I was lying.
Adam!
Clive!
Adam, are you okay?
I'm on the wing!
I kept calling to Adam, who just kept asking me if I was all right, and I said, yeah, I'm okay.
So I knew that Clive was alive, but in serious pain.
While Adam and Clive are both injured, Mumba is lucky enough to have survived relatively unscathed. But Graham is still missing.
I couldn't see or hear anything from Graham at all.
Graham!
And I thought he was dead.
Can you hear me?
I mean, I really did think he was dead.
I check on Graham. Mumba, is he okay? Mumba, is he okay?
Graham has taken the full impact of the crash.
Is he okay?
It's his foot. His foot is hanging off.
But he's alive?
Yes, he's breathing.
So that was a huge relief.
Graham is the most severely injured of them all. In shock, he doesn't grasp the full horror of what has happened.
I knew my back was damaged and I knew my feet were damaged, but I didn't realize how bad.
Adrenaline is numbing Graham's pain.
When I looked down, my one foot was badly damaged with my leg bone sticking out. I could see out of one eye a little bit and everything was blooding up very fast.
To add to his misery, Graham can barely hear the other men. His hearing aid has been lost in the crash.
Are you hurt bad?
I'm afraid I can't feel my legs.
I couldn't move my legs. And then I realized that, you know, I was paralyzed. You're lying there. You're the pilot. You are responsible. You know, these guys are your responsibility. And I was thinking, you know, Graham is in dire straits. You know, he needs help.
We need to make radio contact. We need to contact Lusaka.
Okay. Remember, you need to switch the radio on.
It's a massive risk. With the plane soaked in fuel, one spark from the radio's electrics could trigger an explosion and kill them all. But it's their only hope.
So we turned the radio on, and you can hear a click.
Mayday. Mayday. Can you hear me? Mayday. Mayday. Can you hear me? Mayday. Mayday, can you hear me? If you're out there, can you hear me?
I was lying on one wing. Graham was lying underneath the other thing. And I mean, we would have been fireballed.
Mumbo, turn it off. Turn it off now. Now.
I said, this is crazy, you know, we've got electrics flying around and let's turn it off, forget it, it's not going to work.
Their only means of communication is damaged beyond repair. The four men are now stranded in one of the remotest areas of Central Africa, with no idea if anyone even knows that they've crashed.
Would anybody be missing us? Is anybody going to come and look for us? And how would they ever find us in this place?
They now face a new danger. Exposure to the blistering African temperatures, which can rise to over 100 degrees.
The sun just bearing down on you, you couldn't get out of it, you were exposed. It certainly felt as if I was burning.
3 hours since the crash, the intense heat and lack of water is beginning to take its toll on the men.
It was so hot that we all needed water very badly.
Without water, the men will soon begin to suffer extreme dehydration.
You can survive without food for ages and ages, but you can't survive without water for very long.
I wanted Mumba to go into the trees and see if he could find some water. But he didn't want to go into the trees.
You need to find water, okay?
Water.
He was definitely afraid. Almost certainly he was in shock and traumatized.
You need to get some water.
Going in! Going in!
Yes! You're the only one that can move. Please, Mama.
Okay.
To find water, Mumba must venture alone into the bush. But he knows it's also home to dangerous predators.
He definitely had a strong fear of wild animals, and we were in a game management area where there was a lot of game. I was sort of left in the clearing by myself and sort of listening.